Hey, what's up, everybody? Bro Trio here, coming at you again with another Zelda 35 video because it's September. We've been doing this for 9 months straight now, and we are still loving about talking about Zelda. So today, we're going to be talking about our favorite gimmicks in the rant and rave style. So it's me by my lonesome, then it'll be Aaron and Scotty individually in true rant and rave fashion. But this time we gave ourselves a little bit of a limit on what we talk about because gimmicks is a very interesting topic, and whenever we talked about our favorite, it boiled down to just being our favorite Zelda. And we like I said, we've been doing this for 9 months now, so we're kind of not necessarily sick of talking about our favorite ones, but we're going to give some other ones some love. So we have given ourselves the strictures of you can't talk about your favorite. You can mention it, but your entry has to be your second favorite gimmick. So my favorite Zelda game is the Wind Waker. The gimmick is you sailing on the sea. The sense of adventure. It's absolutely amazing. But today I'm going to be talking about a game I don't think gets quite enough love. It got a lot when it came out, but it seems to have died off. But A Link Between Worlds is one of my favorite Zelda games. It is absolutely awesome because it has two gimmicks. Firstly, the number one gimmick that hooked us right out of the gate was nostalgia. You look at it, you look at the map, Nintendo advertised it as such. It's pretty much A Link to the Past, but redone on the 3DS in this weird kind of like sequel, remake type fashion where it's Link to the Past but 100 years later and ever so slightly different, and it was done beautifully and I love that. And then the second gimmick would be the actual main gimmick of the game, which I like to call Link's Hyrule Glyphics, because Link can he gets this bracelet that he can just turn into a painting on walls and walk around on the walls, and it's really weird and awesome, and it really steers into the whole Zelda puzzle thing where the puzzles are so simple, but not that you don't see the solution immediately, and then when you do find it out, you just feel like the biggest idiot. And I felt like an idiot that entire game because I would be walking around a dungeon not knowing what to do, and I would see like a crack in a wall, and I wouldn't think twice of it. I'd try to bomb it, and then I was like, this is nothing, I'm leaving. Why is that crack there? And then I would do something, and then I would be like, oh wait, I can turn into a painting and crawl through that crack. So that is why Link Between Worlds is my favorite gimmick. It fully encapsulates that aspect of the Zelda franchise, more so than I think any game does in the franchise, because they beautifully made that gimmick both unique for puzzles, and then they even added it into some of the combat, because that final battle against Yuga Ganon, when Yuga Ganon also can turn into a painting. You have a painting wall fight. That was one of my favorite things. I don't like popping off the wall and popping behind him. I like to run all the way around that wall and get Yuga Ganon right in the tail, because that's how I think Link would do it. It makes me feel like a true hieroglyphic warrior, and I loved it.
Probably my favorite gimmick from Zelda is in Link to the Past with the Dark World, because you have a whole other world to explore, but we've discussed that to death. I'm going to talk about a different gimmick today because it's equally as cool and it's kind of similar. But in Minish Cap, the shrinking and growing mechanic really it did it for me. Like, that game was real short, but it was so much fun. I've explored everything in this region, but I'm missing something. Oh, damn it. There's a tree stump over there. Let me shrink and re-explore the whole area again. And you turn regular enemies into like colossal threats. You can find cracks in things, and you do stuff that's small that leads into something when you're big, or vice versa. And it was just a blast to explore that game.
my favorite gimmick in a Zelda game would have been the time travel and child timeline and adult timeline going back and forth nonsense from Ocarina of Time. But we decided to outlaw our favorite, so we're just going to mention them for a little bit here. So I had to pick another gimmick that I thought was super cool, and what I chose was the linked games from the Oracle games. Now, that was awesome. That was a cool thing that only happened once and probably will never happen again, but it was awesome. You have one game, you play through it, you get a code, carry it to the next game, you have a whole nother game now, and it continues where the first story left off, regardless of what order you go in. Plus, you get exclusive items for doing it. You get like Bigoron Sword and a lot of other stuff. You get a lot of stuff, and it even leads to a final like dungeon where you fight Twin Rova and you fight like dumb Ganon, because like Kome and Kotek or Kodake, whatever her name is, they tried to resurrect Ganon by sacrificing Zelda, but when Link interrupted the process, they had to sacrifice themselves to do it. Since the ritual was disrupted, Ganon came back pure beast, pure anger, pure instinct, no intelligence whatsoever. So you still had to put him down because he still would have wrecked a lot of shit, but it wasn't the same old Ganon we were used to, and I just thought that was so cool. The best way to do a linked game, in my opinion, is the fact that you can start with either one and end with either one, and trade rings back and forth. Everything about it was so cool, and I would like to see it again.